Gary Freeman is the halfback. Wayne Pearce lock forward and captain. David Brooks, Paul Sirenen are the 2 second rowers. Bruce Maguire, Stephen Roach, the 2 props. Bouncing Benny Elias is the hooker. And the referee, Mr. Young Policeman.
Yeah, Bill Harrigan, the referee. Welcome, 1ZB listeners in Auckland, New Zealand, and right throughout the Shaky Isles. Welcome this afternoon to the sudden death semi-final. There's the kick-off, and it's Balmain kicking down to Manly. Manly in possession of the football just outside their own quarter.
Hosking up now to play it to O'Donnell. Gives it across now to Martin Bella. Bella pulled down 30 metres out from the Eagles' goal line. O'Donnell now at dummy half. He looks towards the centre. Gives it across now to John Jones. He's going to be pushed back by a strong tackle from Paul Sirenen. Still 30 out now from the Eagles' goal line. O'Donnell's a dummy half. Across it goes to Hosking again towards the centre of the ground. Picks up 6 metres in that run and pulled to ground.
I don't think it'll be too long before Manly kick downfield. There's Ridge's kick downfield now, and it's going to be a very good one. It drives Gary Jack back into his own in-goal area. Hasler's up there and attempts to make the tackle. Jack tackled a half a metre out from his own goal line.
Up the plate now. Back it goes to Robinson, charging forward. Good strong tackle too. Knocks him down by Iro. We'll get up the plate. Ben kick a dummy half. He's going to go on his own. Tucks the football under the right arm. Oh, Iro over the top for a strong tackle. Nothing wrong with it. Ben Elias at dummy half. Gives it across to Bruce Maguire. Charging forward, but John Jones a fine tackle down low. He'll play it to Elias. He gives it out now to Roach, charging forward. Hosking comes at him. He brushes him. But then Bella's up over the top to pull him down. 24 metres out from the Balmain goal line. Roach again playing it to Elias. Back now to Gary Jack. And he kicks the living daylights out of the leather. Well fine touch to 40 metres out from the Manly goal line.
Good crowd in here at the Sydney Football Stadium in the lower grades. Brisbane 20 beat St George 12 in reserve grade, and Parramatta 12. Canterbury Bankstown in the sudden death in the President's Cup. First scrum of the Winfield Cup semi-finals to go down now. Harrigan talks to both packs.
Tuvey up to work this for the Manly side. They win it 2 out the back door. Jeff Tuvey going across the link up. And he is taken by Gary Jack. Will play it 40 out from his own goal line, back to Cliff Lines. Roberts charging forward, but the referee has got Balmain offside and a penalty given 2 metres over the halfway line in Manly area.
Well, Manly and Balmain, 2 great combatants. This is going to be a heck of a game of football. Manly calling them Maori Warringah with their coach Graham Lowe and a number of Kiwis in their side. And as I said, our call going through 1ZB in New Zealand. Great kick by Matthew Ridge. Finds touch now. 32 metres out from the Balmain goal line. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
He's a beautiful timer of the ball. Ridge not only goal kicking, the 2 kicks for the line.
Yeah, certainly have been. And Des Hasler now tackled 30 metres out from the Balmain goal line.
Up now to play it. Roberts at dummy half from that position. Tries to go forward. Wrapped up well and truly by Balmain defence. 28 metres away from the Tigers goal line. O'Donnell again at dummy half. He gives it across to Martin Bella. He charges forward, but again Brooks is there to hold him up and in fact push him back a yard or so he'll play it still in that position. 28 out from the line. O'Donnell gives it to Dewey, gives it back now to Hosking. Good pass the lines. Down the blind side, turns it into Michael O'Connor's possession, but he's still put away that time. Over the top by Maguire. O'Donnell giving it across to Roberts once again. Brooks is there to take him head on, and eventually the big man is back slam. 1 tackle left to go to the Manly side. It's O'Donnell at dummy half, sends it across to Cliffy Lines, gets around Elias, puts a high kick up, all onside for mine as they go forward. Bouncing off Robinson, it goes back into the arms of Freeman, and Balmain come up with a pill 10 metres out from their own goal line. Robinson trying to get away from the back of the ruck. He's 11 metres out from the Balmain goal line and knocked down. It's played now, and it goes straight across into the arms of Wayne Pearce, but he is knocked to the ground beautifully. 15 out from the Tigers line.
Jeff Tuvey went in for a strong tackle, and he's hurt the little fellow. Right now, it's a Balmain in possession on the 22-metre line. Sirenen plays the ball. Roach takes it up.
Beautiful pass out to Maguire. Another one across to David Brooks in fine support, and Brooks pulled down 35 out from the Balmain goal line.
Tuvey still down in back play.
Freeman a dummy half. Back to Ben Elias. He gets a good-looking kick between Matthew Ridge and Tony Iro. They go back to chase the football. Matthew Ridge there to take it 10 out from his own goal line. Turns to have a look. Oh, and strong defence from Benkick in there to put him down. Robinson over the top. He's up the plant. Does so now. And a great run by Tony Iro right out of his own quarter line. 26 metres away from the Manly goal line. O'Donnell across to Martin Bella doing the heavy stuff for the Eagles this afternoon. And it takes 3 Tigers to pull him to ground 40 metres away from the Manly goal line. O'Donnell a dummy half, back to Cliffy Lines. and he drops the end of the boot downfield off the ball. Oh, and he finds the line just outside the Balmain quarter line.
Both sides a very professional start to this game. Tuvey still shaking the cobwebs out of his head. He copped one across the beak. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
He got a knock across the beak too, but I think there's an eye problem as well, Peter. He seems to have a little bit of difficulty just focusing.
Okay, so with scrum feed now, Gary Freeman defeated for Balmain. 0-all on the Mitsubishi scoreboard after 5 minutes of play.
Balmain scrum wins straight out the parish to Gary. Jack tries to make the bust. Good tackle down low that time by Williams. Up the flat, back to Ben Kiki, gives it across once again to Parrish. Out now to Wayne Pearce, trying to make the bust wide. But again, he is knocked to the ground, 35 out from the line. Dreadful play the ball, but he says play on. Well, that was a strange ruling from Harrigan, but the ruling stands. Up now to play the ball, it's Elias giving it across to Stephen Roach. Bella comes at him with the shoulder, and Roach is stopped in his tracks, 8 short of the halfway line, centre field. Still Balmain's end of the ground. Brooks gives it back to Benny Elias. Elias with another fine-looking kick downfield. Awkward bounce for Matthew Ridge. Takes it 15 away from his own goal line. Comes back inside and greeted by strong black and gold defence on his own quarter line.
Very keen Balmain defence, very strong defence, chasing very well. Iro, the battering ram for Manly, takes it outside the quarter line. 6 minutes gone, 0-all on the Mitsubishi Electric scoreboard. Very few penalties early in the game. Good game of football being allowed to flow by Bill Harrigan, the referee.
Hosking up the play at O'Donnell at dummy half again. He has a look back, fends off one, but eventually he's knocked down. Will play at 38 out from his own goal line. Back to Des Hasler, gets rid of one. Strong run too for him going forward.
Freeman nearly takes his head off, misses him.
And he'll get up there to play the ball. He'll be cautioned on the run, I feel sure about that one. But O'Donnell gives it to Cliffy Lyons. Oh, forward pass. Forward pass into the arms of David Lydiard, but it was on the 6th change of possession.
Yeah, certainly was a forward pass. Change over of possession now. Balmain in possession. He's just letting everything go.
It goes across to Elias. Then out to Parrish. He's extended the advantage. That's what he's done, and it was good refereeing, but Parrish going to be knocked down on the halfway line.
Well, Balmain had an overlap. Quick hands there on the last tackle. They got outside the Manly defence, and Parrish came inside with 4 players on the outside. Knock on by Balmain now. Manly in possession. Picked up by Matthew Ridge. There's space on the left.
He links up out wide with Lyons under Turvey. Good pass across to Lydiard. Out now to Tony Iro. He's kicking field. It's a darn good one. Gary Jack back there to round it up, and he knocks it straight out the back door. Tony Iro's kicking field was a ripper, but she's gone out the back door off Gary Jack's arm.
Brilliant stuff by Manly there, swinging the ball wide. Big Iro, sensational big match player. Grubber kicking into the in-goal area, and Balmain had to turn around there after being in possession of the football. Knock on out wide. Manly swung it to the left-hand side of the field. Good left foot kick by Iro before he was put over the sideline. 0-all on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. We've had 8 minutes of play. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
First mistake of the game by Robinson, and they almost paid for it.
They certainly did. Cliff Lyons from the kickoff.
Yes, and he's knocked down inside the Tigers quarter line by Robinson and Benkick. Back now to Tuvey at dummy half across to Iro again. Sirenen's there this time. One big giant on the top of the other, and he's flattened 15 metres out from the Balmain goal line. It's played to O'Donnell across now to Hosking. He'll settle things down too as he's knocked to the ground 10 metres away from the Balmain goal line. O'Donnell again at dummy half. He turns it back to Hosking. Wasn't ready for it, didn't expect it. And the referee now is going to put a scrum down, a bit of pushy shoveys over the top of Hosking. And Roach comes in. Bella has another push. They're not going to hit each other. No way.
Hosking knocked on there, and then there was a bit of push and shoving between Gary Freeman and also Freeman coming in late with an elbow over the top. And it was resented by Martin Bella, and then Bella then started pushing, and he's going to also call out Steve Roach. It's going to be a penalty to the Balmain side after it really, the incident there should have been against Gary Freeman for an elbow there.
I didn't see the elbow.
And that's a mistake by Bill Harrigan early in this game of football. So the penalty to Balmain, and Manly just having to cop that one on the chin.
Okay, Benny Elias with the free kick, gives it straight back to Roach. He wants to take him on too, but O'Donnell's there with Hosking to knock him to ground. Elias at dummy half goes to Brooks. Brooks couldn't get his pass away. Roberts up very, very quickly between his support man. Back now to Benny Elias from the back of the ruck. He nearly makes the break. He gives it back to David Brooks again. Brooks struggles forward, picking up another 10 metres. He's 8 up over the halfway line in Manly territory. Vinny Elias, a dummy half out now to Freeman. He stops, runs through. Oh, and he's nearly through the gap, but another good tackle that time brings him down. Martin Bella, the man around his legs.
They look smart, Balmain. They certainly don't look like a side that's been through a terrific week in playing games midweek. They look very sharp. 0-0 though here as the ball goes out wide to Benke. He kicks downfield left foot. Matthew Ridge has got it covered for Manly. They're offside, Balmain, and he just picks it up. Elias comes through, and he's deemed to be onside by the referee.
Yeah, well, Ridge up now to Platt, and Hosking, the only man back there for the Manly side.
And he's run backward.
Well, Robertson pushed him back. He was trying to look for support, and he was the only one that had the foresight to get back there. But Bella now going forward across towards his goal mouth, knocked down 10 metres out from the Manly goal line. Cliffy Lyons, experienced player from that position at the back of the ruck. He gets the heck out of there with a kick downfield, forcing Gary Jack to go way back to within 30 metres of his own goal line. He's hit it. They're all on. So he'll pick it up on his pattern alone, Gary Jack. Tuvey goes in for the first tackle. He misses him, but then he's knocked down on the far side by Lydiard. To play the ball to Stephen O'Brien.
6 more tackles kicked in to play the ball. 0-0 after 10 minutes of a great sudden deather.
Back now to Brasher. He gives it across to Wayne Pearce. Oh, good tackle that time by Jones. Knocks him down on the halfway line. He's up the play at Elias again. A dummy half across to Siren and steps over the top of one. Boy, is he taking some pulling down Big Zero. 40 metres out now from the Manly goal line.
No tomorrow for the losers, and they're both playing. It is a big overlap for Balmain. Oh, and hung on to by Bruce Maguire.
Back now it goes to Minky. He gives it across this time to Freeman. Freeman, dummy, still going forward. Pushed over the touchline by Michael O'Connor. 30 metres out from the Manly goal line.
Well, Balmain a couple of times have got outside the Manly defence, and forwards have been out there. Bruce Maguire on that occasion, standing out there when there was a 3-man overlap. Scrum feed to Jeff Tuvey of Manly. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
It's a super final. They're both right on their games, but certainly Maguire hung on too long.
He certainly did. Scrum feed. Looks like it's going to be a scrum penalty. To Manly, collapse scrum. Balmain down first. They almost rake that back there against the feed. But Benny Elias on the bottom and O'Donnell getting off the top of him. So Bill Harrigan giving the penalty. Maguire receiving attention in back play. Matthew Ridge puts his foot to the ball. Finds touch just inside Balmain territory. 0-0 after 11 minutes of the sudden death semi-final. Manly and Balmain. Hosking doesn't look fit to me as he almost strolls into the Balmain defence.
5 metres up over the halfway line. He plays it now to O'Donnell across. It goes to Martin Bella. He bypasses Sirenen, but then Wayne Pearce there to finish him off. Play it again back into the arms of O'Donnell. It's got to be a penalty now. 6 more to the Manly side. Good ruling. Now John Jones running very strongly from the back of the ruck. A good 10-metre gain for the Eagles on that occasion.
Here comes Iro.
Oh, Roberts now from the back of the ruck running strongly. Back now to Cliffy Lyons. Gives it to Turvey. Through the gap. Little Turvey off for the corner. And maybe the prize. He turns it back inside to O'Connor. And it came off his chest. Knocks the football on, so they're back to the quarter line.
That would have been a brilliant Manly try. It was beautifully put through by Cliff Lyons. He gave it to Tuvey. Tuvey went through the gap magnificently. He looked for support outside. Maybe he should have pinned his ears back. Gary Jack came at him. He got the pass away to O'Connor. He only had to take the ball, and he was in for the try. And he clapped his hands in disgust there. That was a brilliant 4-pointer that Manly may rue they didn't get. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Oh, glorious ball by Lyons, but he should have taken it, O'Connor. It was on a plate.
It certainly was on a plate for a try.
Stephen Roach in possession now. Up the plate, back to Benny Elias again doing some magic from the back of the ruck, but they didn't fall for it that time, Manly. They play it now. It goes to Freeman, out to David Brooks. He gets rid of Cliffy Lyons. Tuvey's there eventually to pull him down. 2 metres short of the halfway line in Balmain's territory. Parrish gives it back to Benny Elias, and Elias again gets the leather well downfield. Matthew Ridge again taking it inside of his own quarter line very comfortably. He fends off the defence of 1 or 2. He got rid of Wayne Pearce. Carries the football outside of his own quarter line before being stopped by Brasher. Now Iro's turn, but a penalty given to Manly against Balmain. Not standing straight onto the man playing the ball.
Well, 13 minutes gone of the sudden death semi-final. 1 scoring chance in the game, and Manly muffed it after a brilliant pass by Cliff Lyons. Put Jeff Tuvey through the gap, and then Michael O'Connor, the seasoned international, knocked the ball down with no one in front of him, and a gift. 4 points for Manly, and they may rue that knock on. Manly about to attack again. David Hoskins makes it up now 40 metres out from the Balmain goal line.
In the centre of the ground, he's up the plate, back to O'Donnell, gives it across straight into the arms this time of Roberts. Roberts had a look back to offload, no players coming through, and he's knocked down 40 metres out from the Balmain goal line. Scissors movement on now with O'Connor. Gives it out to Cliff Lines. Holds it up for Hasler. Hasler's also going to be wrapped up 40 metres out from the Balmain goal line. 10 metres in from touch. We'll get up the play to Tuvey. Tuvey having a look. Lines calling for the football. Receives it now. Kick downfield behind the Balmain back line. And he finds touch. Scrambles the cameraman. And the flag is up. 18 metres out from the Balmain goal line.
Very cool under pressure in this semi-final, Cliff Lines. The scrums are 2-1 to Manly and the penalties 3-1 to Manly. No score on the Mitsubishi Electric scoreboard after 14 minutes of play.
A bit of headbutting in that scrum that time, but Manly's going to win it. Jeff Tuvey from the back of the scrum going across field.
How did Manly get the feed when they kicked that ball out?
I don't know. There was a screw up there with the halfbacks, but we've got Hasler now making every effort to go forward. He's pulled down 11 metres away from the Balmain goal line.
Must have been touched by a Balmain player. Tony McGale will have the answer for that in a moment.
O'Donnell will go, gives it out down the lines, he gives it under John Jones and he steamrolls his way forward, but he's only stopped about a foot from the Balmain goal line. O'Donnell's a dummy half. He sends it across out to Cliff Lines. Good pass on to Tuvey. Tuvey across to O'Connor. Out now it goes to Williams, but he has coughed the football up. A scrum will go down 10 metres out from the Tigers goal line.
And another missed opportunity. Jones looked almost in there. Tackle just a half a metre out. Manly piling on the pressure against Balmain. Is it only a matter of moments before Balmain crack, or will it be Manly? After Manly doing all the attacking in the opening 15 minutes of play. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
They're starting to give a bit Balmain. There's been a couple of chances. They're just hanging on.
They're just hanging on at the moment, but they can score a try, a long-distance try. Great run by Steve O'Brien. Gets outside his own quarter. They'll fight all the way. Elias pushes off Hasler.
Oh, nearly through the gap too. He gets rid of O'Donnell. Tries to go again, but Roberts is there to scramble him 10 short of the halfway line in Tiger territory. Freeman across to Brooks, gives it out down to Roach. He has made the break, beautiful pass back to Maguire, but Maguire now is knocked to the ground. Down into Manly territory, back down to David Brooks again. He gives it out wide to Benny Elias. He stops, starts, has another go, but again he's knocked to the ground by Robertson Hosking. Up the play to Brooks, back it goes now to Freeman. Freeman puts a high ball up, Ridge coming across, plenty of cover down there for Manly, and up he goes Matthew Ridge, beautifully taking it, but Robinson's there to put him to ground 11 out from his own line.
Oh, both sides walking the tightrope beautifully here at the football stadium. Oh, here's Tony Iro again. What a game we've got. What a shame one of these sides got to dip out today.
Back to O'Donnell. Oh, from the back of the ruck. He's scrambled by Freeman with a beautiful Victor tackle right around the legs. O'Connor across to Martin Bella. And Bella and Roach collide together. Oh, and Roach is bleeding like a stuffed pig. Oh, is he? What? Look at the claret coming out of Roachy's melon as we see Hoskins going forward. 8 metres short of the halfway line in Eagle territory. Up to quickly play the ball. David Hosking. He'll play it now to O'Donnell. Sends it back now to Cliffy Lines. And Lines gets the heck out of there once again with a kick up over the head of O'Brien. It'll beat Stephen O'Brien to the line. Great kick. Flags up. Scrum will go down 12 metres out from the Tigers goal line.
What a magnificent semi-final this is. The brilliance of Manly and the courage of Balmain. No score after 17 minutes and the fans are loving it at the Sydney Football Stadium. Their faces tell the story. Big Steve Roach with plenty of claret, but he's a warrior, and the tougher it is, the better Big Blocker likes it.
Scrum going down, won by Balmain. Picked up by Freeman. An ordinary pass from Freeman out to Parrish, but Parrish has managed to hang on to that one. Hasler lines up there to hold him up. Back it goes now to Binkick. He comes forward right up towards his own quarter line centre field. Roberts around the legs with Jones. Vinny Elias across now to Wayne Pearce. Pearce charging outside of the Balmain quarter line to be greeted again by Jones. Plays it back to Vinny Elias across to Freeman to Parrish out to Gary Jack. Jack can't get around Tuvey. Little Tuvey's got hold of him by one leg, or one and a half that is, as he's knocked to the ground. Back now it goes this time to David Brooks. Turns his back into the Manly defence that time, but it was a strong tackle by Ian Roberts. Now it's Stephen O'Brien giving it across again to Benny Elias. This kick downfield taken by Michael O'Connor. 40 out from his own goal line. Beautiful step inside one. Nearly gets away from Clint Robinson, but he's there to pull him down 5 short of the halfway line in Manly territory.
Must be frustrating for Manly. They've had most of the ball, most of the attack in this game, and yet they've got nothing to show for it. The longer Balmain hang in and make it a close go, the better that it'll be for the Tigers. Roach and a strong tackle now on Big David Hosking.
Yes, and he wasn't going to be goaded into playing around that time. He let him go, but Bella now charging forward right up to the 30-metre line into Balmain territory. Billy Harrigan getting them on side. A good 5 yards too as Johnny Jones goes forward too in a strong run. They can't put him down. Sirinen says play it, and he does. Back to O'Donnell. Out to John Jones to Cliffy Lines. Has Hasler there. Great dummy back inside to Hasler. Oh, the greatest tackle I've seen for a long time. Jimmy Jack What a butler.
Yeah, but he went the wrong way. He had Michael O'Connor and Jeff Tuvey on the blind side for a certain try. A brilliant break by Cliff Lyons, but he went the wrong way. He went inside to Hasler when he had Michael O'Connor and Jeff Tuvey on the blind side. Should have been a try. Great tackle though, Greg, by Gary Jack, and he hurt himself, and he also hurt Des Hasler as well. So both those great players down injured at the moment as a result of that. Games are won by tackles like that. That's a magnificent tackle.
Stephen O'Brien makes the bust around 1 or 2. He's going down fairly, still going, heading for the far corner, but he's knocked to the ground 38 metres out from the Manly goal line.
Great game of football. Balmain coming back.
Back it goes now to Parrish. Long pass across to Tim Brasher, out now this time to Wayne Pearce. His pass is well and truly put to ground by Ben Kick, but a penalty given. Let's pass. 3 sets of hands before he's called him offside.
Well, I can't agree with that penalty. Bill Harrigan's having a super game, but that's a harsh penalty, and Balmain really there had nowhere to go. Manly's defence had them covered, and David Brooks is going to have the first shot at goal in this game after 20 minutes, and I can't agree with that penalty. He's had a brilliant game so far, but he could have penalised both sides early in this game and didn't, and right now in the 20th minute he's changed that. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Well, after 2 or 3 sets of hands, it's a tough call, but what a sensational game. That Lions break and that tackle by Jack, you won't see better.
You certainly won't. He had to make it. It was going to be a try under the post for Manly. Had he gone the other way, Cliff Lyons, he gave it to the first call he heard, which was, of course, obviously Des Hasler, but there was a try on the outside. Balmain with a shot at goal now, and this is the first attempt at points after 21 minutes of the game, and Hasler has a knee injury.
Yes, he does, Peter, and he's getting attention from the trainer now in a little bit of distressed mode at the moment, but what a great competitor. But we've got Brooks now. He's 18 metres in from touch. He's 26 metres out from the Manly goal line. The kick's up, but it's going to be wide, and it's going to be dead off No, he must have been over the dead ball line when he touched it, so they were back to the quarter line.
Okay, so that's a missed opportunity, struck well by David Brooks, but no goal there. Still 0-0 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard after 21 minutes of play. Minor preliminary semi-final, no tomorrow for these teams in the Winfield Cup, Manly and Balmain. There's the dropout by Manly's Darryl Williams.
Yes, and Gary Jack takes it, gives it back to Clint Robinson across the far side of the ground. Tuvey's got him, but he let him go. He offloads out now to Stephen O'Brien. Too much pace for Martin Bella, but he had no support, and Williams pulls him down with a good tackle. Brasher across this time to Freeman. Good pass to Parrish again. Parrish offloads out. Now it goes to Bruce Maguire. His pass is ordinary. Robinson goes back and has knocked it over the touchline. So the feed will be to Manly.
Good run by Bruce Maguire there. Good strong pass by Matt Parrish. They're finding Manly out on the outside. They're getting an overlap there, but I wonder if the forward standing out there is going to do much good for them. 0-0 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. 22 minutes gone in a wonderful game of rugby league.
Tuvey up now to work this one for the Manly side. They'll win it comfortably.
Well, Pearce didn't even pack into that scrum.
Tuvey gives it across the lines. Out now to Michael O'Connor, across to Darryl Williams. He tries to get around Tim Brasher, and O'Brien comes in to assist the centre. He'll play the ball 30 out from his own goal line. Back now to Michael O'Connor, nearly around another one, but Stephen O'Brien's there. Well, that's gone through 2 sets of hands, so at least it's even. Stephen Manly to receive a penalty.
Okay, and the penalties in the game so far are 4-2 to Manly, and the scrums are 4-3 to Manly. Still no score in the sudden death semi-final. 23 minutes gone between the Sea Eagles and the Tigers. Manly to take the tap from O'Donnell on the halfway mark.
Straight back to Hosking. He charges forward, picks up 8 metres for the Manly side. Knocked down 8 metres into Balmain territory. O'Donnell across now to Bella. Bella tries to go around 1 or 2. Brooks is there to knock him to ground. He'll play it to O'Donnell from the back of the ruck. He runs on his own. A good burst to another 6 metres. They're only 20 out now from the Tigers' goal line. We'll play the football back. It goes to Tuvey. Then out to Ian Roberts. Roberts well and truly into the quarter area, having a look to hold it up. Tuvey's in support. He gives it back now to Hosking. Hosking steps inside 1 or 2. Good run from him. 10 metres away now from the Balmain goal line, Manly. And getting up the plate, a penalty kick now. Little Freeman on the deck. He's in the shed for 5.
Benke.
It is Benke too, yeah. He's been put in the shed for 5
Well,
minutes.
a quick play the ball there would have been a situation where maybe Manly could have got a roll on for the try there. Benke hung on to big David Hosking, lay all over him, and the penalty almost right in front. An easy one for Matthew Ridge. Lay all over him, hung on to him, and then the penalty was given. Steve Benke into the sin bin for 5 minutes, and certainly in this game of football, you can't afford to be without the full complement of players. So it is Matthew Ridge now for a shot at penalty goal for Manly. No score after 24 minutes of play.
Okay, the kick now to be taken by Matthew Ridge. 12 metres out from the Balmain goal line. Just off to the left-hand side, kicking towards the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Matthew Ridge. I'm sure he'll put this one over for the first 2 points of the match.
I was until you said that. You're the worst judge in the world.
Okay, he's one of the best kickers in the world, so
yeah, but I don't know whether he can carry you.
Yeah, well, I rely on his own ability to kick it. There she goes. 2 points, and aren't you grinning now?
25 minutes gone. Matthew Ridge puts first points on the board. Manly 2, lead Balmain 0 on the Mitsubishi Electric scoreboard. Steve Benke in the sin bin, and Balmain can hardly afford to give that man any chance at penalty goal, especially in an easy position like that. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
He can't blue about it, Ben Kicker, neither can Balmain. He did it the other night. They know what to expect.
Okay, here's the restart of play. Manly with 2 good try-scoring opportunities. They've squandered those. Balmain, a brilliant burst by Steve O'Brien, has been the closest they've got. Restart of play. The ball picked up from the kickoff. Very, very well there by that player. Hosking it was, who's having a strong game now.
Sure is. Now O'Donnell giving it across to Martin Bella. He's going to be wrapped up 30 metres out from the Manly goal line. Getting up the plate again. O'Donnell's a dummy half. Gives it across this time to John Jones. He's going to be put down centre field, 40 out from his own goal line. Again, David O'Donnell quickly into that dummy half roll. Gives it back this cross to Roberts. Roberts going in a scissors movement behind the back of the ruck. And Roach is there to take him. They're 8 short of the halfway line, still in Manly territory.
26 minutes gone in the first half of the sudden death semi-final. Manly 2-0. Grubber kick over the top.
Oh, and a beautiful bounce that time for Hasler. He's pulled down now, but he's lost possession of the ball. And they've collided. We see Freeman racing away, taking the advantage. But
they're down injured. Des Hasler and also a Balmain player down.
I can't pick him up, but I'll stay with the game. Balmain are in possession.
Bruce Maguire and Hasler. Hasler's in the wars.
Back now it goes to Roach. Roach stopped some 5 metres short of the halfway line, still in Balmain territory. Vinny Elias a dummy half across this time to Wayne Pearce. Beautiful tackle that time. And it was David Lydiard. Back now it goes to Sirenen. The strike player, Sirenen going through the gap. He looked back for support, and that was a good stop from Hosking. Oh, he got up the run again, and it was Hasler had hold of him. That was a fair pinch.
Well, good strong run by Paul Sirenen, and they went high, a couple of them there. Hasler went high. Hosking had hold of him by one leg, and he was down, no doubt about that. He got up the run again. Manly let him go. Bill Harrigan obviously called on him to play it, and Big Sirenen, I tell you what, he is running very, very strongly, the big fellow this afternoon, like a black and gold Mack truck, racing away from the Manly defence there. 2-0 to Manly, 12 minutes out from half-time. Look at Bella go up.
Oh, very strong run, right back up to the Balmain quarter line. He'll play it to O'Donnell. O'Donnell giving it across to Hosking again, making a fist of that, and he picks up another 5 metres for the Eagles.
Manly applying plenty of pressure to Balmain in this game.
John Jones charging forward too, and he's having a game. He's knocked down 10 metres out from the Tigers' goal line. O'Donnell from the back of the ruck, nearly through the gap, holds it up. Cliffy Lyons, try! Try to Cliffy Lyons!
Cliffy Lyons in, under the post, and young David O'Donnell held the ball up beautifully, and the pressure from Manly is finally told. And Cliffy Lyons, what a magnificent game from Lyons now, and Manly lead by 6-0. O'Donnell raced away on the right-hand side of the field. Benny Elias fell for the dummy. Maguire had hold of him. He gave it to Lyons. Lyons carried Gary Jack over. He got the ball down, one-handed, and the Eagles lead by 6 points to 0 with a kick to come. Brilliant burst by David O'Donnell, and the pressure from Manly is starting to tell. Cliff Lyons charged onto the ball and put the ball down for a spectacular rugby league try. Manly 6-0.
Okay, this kick now from Matthew Ridge, 10 metres out. Right smack dab on the left-hand upright. Ridge will certainly put this one over, I feel sure. And that'll give him a big, big plus in the first half. Ridge comes in, the ball's up, the flags are up, and the 2 points are up.
Manly 8, lead Balmain 0, 2 out of 2 for Matthew Ridge. And the scoreline 8-0 on the Mitsubishi Electric scoreboard. Manly 8, Balmain 0 at the Sydney Football Stadium. Sideline eye, Tony Mackay.
Bruce Maguire off for McFarlane. We'll check on the injury.
Okay, Bruce Maguire off. He had a head clash with of course, Manly's Des Hasler a few moments ago. A chip by Cliff Lyons, who's doing it all here this afternoon. A masterful display by Cliffy Lyons. Manly 8-0, and it's McFarlane on for Maguire at the moment.
And we've got Michael O'Connor in possession for Manly. It's played back to Cliff Lyons. Oh, pass to Martin Bella was a shocker from Cliffy Lyons. Just when Peter gave him a rap, that was a bad pass. Poor old Martin couldn't get to that one, so a scrum will go down just outside the Manly quarter line.
And 10 minutes left for play in the first half. I would say Balmain's got to score in this 10-minute period. Here's a great opportunity for them. Their best opportunity in the game, a scrum just outside the Manly quarter.
Fed by Freeman. Balmain will win this one. Straight across now. It goes to Parrish. Long pass out now to Gary Jack. Can't get past the tackle of Matthew Ridge. Up the play, it's still 30 out from the line. Goes across to Wayne Pearce. He stops, starts, gets away from one. Martin Bella is there to pull him down just outside the Manly quarter line.
Vital period for Balmain. They can't let Manly score next. If Manly score next, they're going to be awfully hard to beat. Balmain have to score next to stay alive in this game.
Freeman across it, goes to Parrish. Freeman on the wraparound. Sirenen comes in. Oh, he just gets rid of one. Still going forward, but then a fine tackle by Jones pulls him to ground. Now it's going across to Freeman again. This time to Parrish. Parrish comes inside 1 or 2. Has a look. Got good ball skills, but he's going to be held up over the top by Cliffy Lyons. Plays it back now to Benny Elias, races through, puts the kick into the in-goal area, but Ridge is there to take it beautifully. Clint Robinson down there, and he is pulled back into the in-goal area. Goal line drop out for Manly.
Well, he got into the field of play, but then got pulled back. But beautiful kick by Elias. Great covering work by Matthew Ridge, who's having a blinder. Sideline eye, Tony Mackay.
Bruce Maguire's out of the match with a shoulder injury. The Tigers have lost their hardest worker.
Okay, so Maguire out of the match for Balmain. He's not coming back on. Bruce Maguire out with a shoulder injury. McFarlane on, so the Tigers right up against it. There's the dropout taken by Gary Jack. He gives it to Clint Robinson, who can motor.
He sure can, but he can also go to ground, which he did that time. Good tackle by O'Donnell. Plays it back now. It goes to Elias across the Wayne Pearce. Pearce trying to make the bust again. O'Donnell there to pull him to ground. 26 metres out from Manly's line. Benny Elias gives it across to McFarlane. Roberts has got hold of him, and again O'Donnell comes in around the legs. He'll play it again to Elias, goes across to Roach, back to Freeman, offloads out this time to Ben Kiki, passes from the ground, back to Freeman. Freeman looked at the referee as he offloaded this time to Parrish, but the referee said that was okay. Parrish now trying to play it back to Benny Elias, gives it to Freeman down the blind side, chip and chase on. Matthew Ridge again beautifully taking that one for Manly. Legs chopped from under him by O'Brien on the far side of the ground. 5 out from the Eagles line.
Well, there were people in Sydney that said Matthew Ridge couldn't play up to first grade Winfield Cup standard. I think we saw it in that rugby league test at Wellington a few weeks back, and right today he's just showing it to them. Roberts gets the ball out.
Toobie to Lyons. Lyons, oh, bad pass again to Iro. Scurry's back to get it. Manages to pick it up. He turns it inside to Michael O'Connor. He steps 1 or 2, but eventually he's back slammed by David Brooks, 11 metres out from the Manly goal line.
Well, that's harem-scarum stuff inside your own quarter.
Yes, it is. Lyons giving it across to John Jones. Boy, he's having a good game too, this bloke. He picks up another 10 metres for the Eagles.
Manly 8, lead Balmain 0, 7 minutes out from half-time.
O'Donnell giving it back to Matthew Ridge, and a fine-looking punt, a beauty, in fact, right down into Balmain territory. Gary Jack on the first bounce takes it. Plenty of chasers up there too. He offloads out now into the arms of O'Brien, who fends off one, goes down, Burr gets rid of another one. Just run out of room, just run out of support play.
He got rid of Darryl Williams in a good bust there. He's Balmain's best player. Big numbers out wide for Balmain.
Goes across to Benny Elias. He shows it to one. Jones again with a punishing tackle down around the legs. And Toobie up over the top. Now Brasher gives it to Roach. Roach charging forward. He gives it back now to McFarlane. McFarlane well and truly wrapped up by Jones and Roberts.
Fabulous game of football. Balmain attacking beautifully.
Benny Elias gives it across to Sirenen. Sirenen's got his legs chopped from under him by Cliffy Lyons. He'll give it across now to Freeman. Out to Gary Jack. Jack trying to make a break. Oh, good tackle by Williams on the far side of the ground. puts the Balmain fullback out of business. Now it's with Freeman again. He's going to be wrapped up, but he gives it back to Stephen O'Brien. O'Brien puts a kick in, but Cliffy lines up there to carry it out the back door. This is great stuff.
Magnificent game of football. Balmain coming back strongly after Manly had led 8 points to 0 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. The Eagles under the hammer at the moment as the Balmain Tigers, one of the gutsiest football clubs in rugby league history, stamp their mark on this game. They're not going to give up without a fight. What a game of football at the football stadium. No place for aprons or skirts here today. Manly taking their time for the dropout. Here it comes now from Darryl Williams.
Yes, a good kick too, right down to the halfway line. Gary Jack allowing it to bounce and go past him. In fact, it's gone right back to the 30-metre line. Balmain into the ground. The little chaser, Turvey up there, but Gary Jack beats him. Can't get away from Hasler, but manages to get right back up to the halfway. Now he plays it to Steve Benkick. He goes forward too, but beautifully wrapped up by John Jones again around the legs.
5 minutes till half-time. Very important part of this game. Balmain, I repeat, have got to score next.
Back it goes to Roach off a Liar's pass, but he's going to be wrapped up again. Roberts over the top, Hosking down low. He'll play it. And we've got now Sirenen trying to make the bust. He gives it to Roach, standing flat-footed, turns it inside to McFarlane, back to Wayne Pearce. Pearce has put the football down. O'Donnell picks it up about 12 metres out from the Manly goal line.
Balmain's big men starting to work very, very well now. Roach and Sirenen, the two internationals working in tandem.
Ridge from the back of the ruck trying to get away. Benny Elias comes in up over the top, the taking ball and all. Now it's Roberts giving it back to Hosking again, doing plenty of work the mule this afternoon, and he's outside of his own quarter line.
This is a tremendous semi-final, both sides playing it as though their lives depended on it, and the fans know it, the players know it, the referee knows it, and it is just one of the great games of football.
Back it goes to O'Donnell. Cliffy Lyons, who he was going to give it to Lydiard, who's been put out of business. The ball's gone back, picked up by Des Hasler. He's going to try and make a break, but it's he's stopped very, very quickly by Freeman.
Well, Lydiard put out of business, you know, without the football. Surely the touch judge has seen it.
I've seen it. Back it goes now to Matthew Ridge. He's been put out of business too, but the referee saw that one. He said, let it go. Up over the head of Gary Jack, stops it with his leg. Manages to pick it up. He's got Cliff Lyons and Turvey again to contend with, and both of them hone in on him like radar.
Well, the touch judges aren't coming in. That's amazing.
Back it goes now. Into the arms this time of Parrish. He sends a long one over to Stephen O'Brien. He comes back inside. He gives it back now to Wayne Pearce, and Pearce makes a bust down the centre of the ground. He's wrapped up now by Roberts. We'll get up to play it. Benny Elias, a dummy half across the road, sends it inside to Brooks. Brooks up over the halfway line. Has a look around, he turns his attention now to Parrish once again, and Parrish manages to offload once again to Benny Elias. Out it goes to McFarlane. Turvey comes up for him. McFarlane brushes him, still going forward, but eventually he's pulled down by Hasler, a metre up over the halfway line in Eagle territory.
Well, the pace is a cracker, and it's got to tell on Balmain more than Manly, because they've played an extra 80 minutes during the week, and it was a tough encounter against Newcastle. Freeman in the runaround.
Yes, and a good pass that went across this time to Steve Benke again, but he is knocked down. Still 40 metres out from the Manly goal line. Freeman out to Tim Brasher, races through, puts the kick on two. Bounce favours him. That back it goes to O'Brien. Tries to keep it alive, but he's passed it forward. Nobody knows what to do. And the referee says change of possession to Manly, and they will have a play the ball inside their own quarter line.
Billy Harrigan letting the game flow, and both sides must be looking at the clock, wondering when this half-time break is coming. It's 2 minutes away. Balmain trailing Manly by 8-0 on the Mitsubishi Electric scoreboard. Manly haven't done anything silly inside their own territory, and they'll be looking to get the ball down the other end of the field. Manly 8, Balmain 0, and we're a minute and a half out from half-time.
Now we've got O'Connor giving across the lines again onto David Lydiard. Lydiard had a look back. O'Brien's up over the top of him just outside the Manly quarter line. Up to play it, back it goes to O'Connor. He gives it across to Williams, and Williams gets a kick downfield. And Gary Jack there to turn and chase it. He'll pick it up inside of his own quarter line. Turvey again coming down with Martin Bella. Turvey calling Bella down. Gary Jack will have too much pace for one, but Bella's there to put Jimmy Jack away.
That's a great tackle by the front rower.
Was.
Chasing and tackling.
Back it goes now to Parrish. Wide out now to Benkick. He comes inside. Cliffy Lyons got hold of him by the shirt tail. Up again to Platt. Brasher from the back of the ruck. He gets away from one. Goes down. Scurries downfield. Nearly away from another one. But for a good tackle that time by Roberts, pulls him down. Now it goes to Elias out to Roach, holds it up for Pearce. Beautiful pass to Sirinen. Wide out to O'Brien again. The handling is absolutely magnificent.
And so is the spreading of the ball. Balmain brilliant here just before half-time. Can they snubble a try?
McFarlane putting it down, managed to go back, and he does pick it up, but he's going to be wrapped up over the top by Bella and Hasler. Benny Elias getting his kick downfield from the back of the ruck into the in-goal area. Matthew Ridge scurries, going to take the ball. No, he's going to watch it trickle out the back door. I'd do the same, son.
32 seconds left in this great first half of football. Only one try scored by the best player on the field, Cliffy Lyons, in the 29th minute after a good burst by the hooker, David O'Donnell. 20 seconds to go in the first half. Manly 8, Balmain 0 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. And Matthew Ridge 2 from 2. Manly take the tap. Up goes Ian Roberts, who's had a big first half. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
It's just that touch of class that have got the Eagles there, that just touch of class out wide.
Manly playing the ball now with only seconds remaining in the first half. They'll soak it up now, and there it is, the half-time siren. Manly 8 lead Balmain 0 at half-time of the sudden death semi-final. For the Manly side, a try to Cliff Lyons, 2 goals from 2 attempts to Matthew Ridge, and for Balmain, none from 1 to David Brooks. The scrums in the first half are 4 all the scrums in the first half, and the penalties are 6-2 to Manly over Balmain. Manly 8, Balmain 0 at half-time here at the Sydney Football Stadium in a grand game of football. Joining me for the half-time break, none other than the Sharks playmaker and World of Football team member Gavin Miller. What a great first half, Gav.
It certainly has been, Peter, and as predicted, Manly Warringah have had all the running, although there has been a number of lost opportunities by the Manly side. Cliff Lyons is having an outstanding game, and he's certainly controlling the game out there at the moment. But all in all, it's been a good team performance, and Manly ought to be congratulated on the way that they've gone about their business.
Well, you said a couple of missed opportunities. Michael O'Connor, one off the chest. That should have been a try.
I certainly should have been, Peter. Hit him right in the breadbasket too, and it was a great break by Turvey, and I thought he's good team performance, and as I said before the game, I thought that the Manly side was very underrated in their pack, and they've certainly taken this game to Balmain.
They certainly have, Gavin. 8-0 is not indicative of their superiority in that first half, and that must be a bit of a worry to them.
Yes, but I think that they look as though that they're feeling the pinch already, the Balmain side, and with the loss of Maguire with a shoulder injury in that early stages of the first half, Peter, I just think that they're going to feel the pinch in the second half, and as I predicted, I still believe that Manly have got the opportunity to run up a big score against Balmain.
Okay, who's impressed you in both sides this afternoon?
Well, I think that every one of the forwards has worked hard. Roberts is no doubt leading the defence for Manly. Des Hasler, as predicted, he's fitting. I mean, he's a workhorse, Des. But the two halves have really stood out in my mind for the Manly side, Turvey and Lyons. I think that they've been the two best for Manly. For the Balmain side, everyone's made a contribution, but there's no one played better than Steve O'Brien on the wing.
Gary Jack's tackle of Des Hasler when that beautiful break was made by Lyons. He had the option on the inside, he had Hasler. On the outside, he had Jeff Tuvey and Michael O'Connor. It would have been a try had he come back the blind side, but he went to the open, and that was a magnificent tackle by Gary Jack. He hurt himself and he hurt Hasler.
Well, Jack read it beautifully. Even if Cliff Lyons had have gone himself, Peter, I think that he would have scored. But with the option on the outside with Turvey and Michael O'Connor, he took the wrong option, and unfortunately they weren't able to come away with a try. But all in all, territorially, Manly have certainly dominated, haven't they?
They certainly have, and I just wonder how Balmain are feeling now. You were in this position exactly a year ago after winning a midweek playoff for 5th. How are they feeling there now? I almost thought they had to score before half-time to get in the game, and they've certainly got to score next.
Well, there's no doubt about that, Peter. They certainly have got to come up with a try in the first few minutes of this second half, because there's no doubt towards the latter part of this second half that they're going to feel the pinch. And unless they're in front towards the last 10 or 15 minutes, I don't think there's any way back for them. Cliff Lyons has certainly dominated with his kicking game, and if he continues to implement his kicking game the way that he has, and territorially, I don't think that Balmain have got the ability to be able to run a length of the field try against this Manly side that is particularly quick on the outside. And, I don't think that they've got anyone in the Balmain side that can go the distance against the Manly side.
Paul Sirenen having a heck of a game for Balmain. Gee, he's a strong running player.
Well, the thing about Sirenen, unlike last year, that he was probably criticised for his inconsistency, but I must congratulate Big Ciro. He's turned things about this year. He's probably been, the pick of the forwards for Australia and representative fixtures, and not only that, his contribution to Balmain, he's probably been their form forward all season.
Well, if Balmain are going to get out of it, their internationals, Elias and Roach and Sirenen, are going to have to show the way in the second half, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't think they can, Pete.
You don't think they can?
No. I just think it's a too tough and tall order for Balmain, particularly after such a physical encounter that they had last week on Tuesday. I just don't think that they've got the stamina to be able to come back and win this game.
And of course, Manly have got a fit Adrian Shelford on the bench, and of course we know what he's done. I think probably Hosking will get another 10 minutes, and then we'll see Shelford come into the game.
There's no doubt that Graham Lowe, who's a very, very smart operator, is going to bring Shelford into the game, and I think Hosking's contribution's been terrific, but I think that Shelford, who's a very, very experienced campaigner, will come into the game a lot earlier than most people will predict.
Well, tough luck for Balmain losing Bruce Maguire. He was having a very strong game until injured.
Well, Bruce Maguire,
he's a good worker, isn't he?
He's certainly a workhorse, and the unfortunate thing about it, Maguire sustained that shoulder injury, and I think a fit Bruce Maguire may have prevented O'Donnell making the yards that he did to set up that first try for Manly.
Okay, and he's had a good game, the kid, hasn't he? David O'Donnell against Benny Elias. The scrums are 4-all.
Well, the big thing about that is, as Max Krilich predicted before the game, that O'Donnell wasn't going to be overawed by the occasion. The fact that he's a very, very smart operator from that dummy half position, something that Manly have been criticised for in the past, is that they've been a fairly cumbersome team around that dummy half area. O'Donnell's provided the variation that's required, as Benny Elias has for the Balmain side, and they've made a number of telling breaks from that acting half position, as Des Hasler has as well.
Okay, a very exciting game here at the Sydney Football Stadium. Comments from Gavin Miller, of course, Dally M winner, Rothmans medal winner last year, and he's had another great season with the Cronulla Sharks. 8-0 to Manly, just repeating the scores in the lower grades today. Brisbane 20 beat St George, 12 in the reserve grade sudden death semi-final, and Parramatta 12 beat Canterbury Bankstown 10 in the President's Cup. We'll take a break, uninterrupted rugby league, brought to you, of course, by those great people from Tooheys, Liquor Stop, Auto Village Holden and LJ Hooker. We'll take a break and be back with the second half.
You should shop at the liquor store.
Stretch your budget further every week at your local Liquor Stop store. Selected wines from the Arrowfield Premium range, $7.99 each. McWilliams Philip Hermitage and Elizabeth Riesling, $8.49 each. McWilliams Mount Pleasant Sauterne, $8.49. Wolf Blass Champagne and Rosé Cuvée, $12.49 each. And Bell Scotch Whisky, $18.99. Stop, shop and save at your local Liquor Stop store.
Is your weekly fuel bill a worry? Then get out to Auto Village Holden for a super deal on a brand new 4-cylinder Holden. You can get up to 56 miles per gallon. That's right, 56 miles per gallon, and the car only costs you $12,990 plus dealer delivery. Demo models are even cheaper. Call out today and take advantage of the fabulous trade-ins on offer. Auto Village Holden, 266 Hume Highway, Cabramatta. Phone them on 728 7333.
Nobody does it better. Makes me feel sad for the rest. Nobody does it.
With Gary Jack, so Steve O'Brien out of the game, the flyer, James Grant, the try scorer from last year's grand final, into the game now. 10 minutes left for David Hosking and then big Adrian Shelford to come on. Manly are on the field, waiting for the battered Tigers to come out. Here they come now, and a couple of greats leading them out. Wayne Pearce, Benny Elias, Steve Roach, they're the players that have to fire for Balmain. So there's the news from sideline eye Tony McGay. Steve O'Brien out of the game at half-time. James Grant on the wing for Balmain now, and it's backs to the walls for the Tigers, but how many times have they been counted out in history, and how many times have they come back to score a great win? I'm not writing them off. They've done it too many times, particularly to Manly, who've never beaten them in a semi-final. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Yeah, Peter, but how fits Grant? Remember, he didn't play on Tuesday night for mine. Manly should have scored another 2 tries in that first half.
Okay, but they didn't, and that's the fact of the matter. Here we go for the second half, and here's Hollywood.
Okay, the game underway off the boot of John Jones. A very, very, very deep kick taken by Gary Jack right back under the crossbar on his own line. Manages to come out 15 metres from the Balmain goal line before being knocked down. It's played back to Brasher. Brasher goes forward and he's pulled down also on his own quarter. Elias at dummy half across. It goes now to Sirinen. Sirinen going forward, still going. Eventually pulled down now 30 metres out from the Balmain goal line. Now, Benny Elias gives it back now to Roach. Roach's pass is a shocker, goes along the ground, very quickly picked up by David Lydiard, but then claimed up over the top that time by David Brooks. Manly in possession, 8 metres over the halfway line in Balmain territory. Martin Bella charging forward, and he is eventually knocked down by Benny Elias. Now O'Donnell at dummy half, giving it out to Hosking. And as Peter mentioned, 10 minutes for him in this second half, but he's taken over the top by Sirinen. Back it goes to O'Donnell, across to John Jones again, making the bus, carries the football right back up into the Balmain quarter area again before being knocked down by Roach. It's played to O'Donnell across this time to Ian Roberts. Roberts going to be trying to offload, but eventually he's pulled down up over the top by Freeman, and McFarlane will play it 18 metres out from the Balmain goal line. O'Donnell's at the back of the ruck. He passes across this time. It goes past Iro. Iro managing to pick up the football. Can't get his legs free this time, but he offloads back to Hosking. He races through, puts a chip up, trying to get through, but it's gone up and taken by James Grant. And he will now play the ball 9 metres out from the Balmain goal line to David Brooks, trying to fend off one. Brooks charging forward. O'Donnell there and Hosking around the legs to pull him down 15 metres out from the Balmain goal line.
Well, Balmain looking a little bit tired to start off this second half. Wayne Pearce trying to inject some life in them. Des Hasler limping with that knee injury, badly for Manly.
And the ball touched by Manly, 6 tackles ruled, and it's a bad play the ball, but Freeman managing to get the football away into the arms of Parrish, is immediately pulled down. It's played now back to Tim Brasher, tries to make a break. O'Donnell there again to knock him down 30 metres out from the Balmain goal line. Benny Elias at dummy half across to Gary Jack, tries to get around Williams, does so, but Jeff Tooby's up over the top and he stopped 8 metres short of the halfway line in Balmain territory. Now James Grant from the back of the ruck, carrying the football across field, picked up and driven into the turf by Roberts. Up the plat, back now to Benny Elias from the back of the ruck, was going to kick, change of mind, gives it back to Roach. Roach makes the break down the centre of the ground, offloads the one, gives it out now to Brasher. Brasher's pass has gone to Benkick, but the referee says play on. I thought it may have gone a touch forward, but he's knocked down 40 metres out with one tackle left to go from the Manly line.
Tony Iro down injured for Manly and out of the game at the moment. Kick through by Gary Freeman's going to go into the in-goal area, over the dead ball line. Play will restart, and Des Hasler also injured. Hasler is down and he's out of the game. Owen Cunningham on the field, so Hasler has a knee injury. That doesn't look good for Manly, and Owen Cunningham onto the field, and also Tony Iro was down injured, back on his feet at the moment.
And the tap to be taken by O'Donnell, straight back now to the workhorse this afternoon in Martin Bella. He's pulled down 28 metres out from the Manly goal line. Iro still receiving attention as it's played to O'Donnell, gives it out to John Jones again. Sirenen's there to eventually pull him back up a little bit. Eventually he goes to ground now. We'll get up the play to O'Donnell. The referee up over the ruck, but O'Donnell makes a break from the back of there. Oh, his pass goes astray very quickly, tried to be picked up by Cliffy Lyons, but it's gone back into the arms of Jeff Tooby, and the referee says we're going to put a scrum down.
Well, Roberts tackled without the ball there. He was trying to support O'Donnell. O'Donnell finally gave the pass away, but no penalty forthcoming. Balmain with a great opportunity early in the second half now, and if they're going to make a run, they've got to get this try early in the second half.
Scrum win to Balmain. Parrish tries to make a half break, but again Matthew Ridge up in the line to do the damage with Cunningham. It's played now back to Wayne Jr. Pearce up to the Manly quarter line. He is knocked down by Roberts. Plays it back now. It goes to Freeman, out to Benny Elias. Benny Elias stops. They all stop to have a look at what the heck he was going to do.
What was he doing?
Well, his side didn't know what he was going to do either, but he's up the play to Freeman. Freeman gives it to Roach, turns it inside to Sirinen. Sirinen goes up over the top of one or two, but again Bella's there to stop him. Freeman a dummy half, sends it across to McFarlane. McFarlane wrapped up by O'Donnell, but a penalty given to the Balmain side. Again, we've seen that go through 2 sets of hands before the penalty given.
Well, they got to have the shot at goal. They didn't take it last week. It's only 8-0, and surely they've got to have a shot at goal. David Brooks. Yeah, they are. Roach saying, what are we going to do? I think they had Manly on the back pedal there, and certainly it was Manly having to defend. Now, they've lost Des Hasler early in the second half. Balmain lost Bruce Maguire in the first half and Steve O'Brien at half-time. So it's like Gallipoli out there in the sudden death semi-final. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Well, there's another penalty after 3 sets of hands. What are they supposed to do, stand on the line?
Well, on that occasion, he really did go over towards the corner post before giving the penalty. Balmain need an injection. Maybe a David Brooks penalty goal can do it for them. They're certainly coming back a little bit stronger now. After the opening minute, they looked very lethargic. But once Hasler went off, they seem to rise a little bit. And a Brooks penalty goal will put some petrol back in the Tigers' tank, expensive as it is at the moment.
Okay, we've got David Brooks. He's 12 metres in from touch again towards the Moore Park Road end of this magnificent stadium. David Brooks trying to put first points on the board for the Balmain Tigers. Zorba pointed out very, very important 2 points for Balmain if he can get the leather over the bar. He's hit it beautifully, but again it's waved away, gone to the right-hand side, gone out the back door, and Manly are going to go back up to the quarter for the dropout.
Well, he struck it very well, but it just went to the left of the uprights, and Balmain can't afford those misses this afternoon. None from 2 for the Balmain kicker in David Brooks. He struck it well, but didn't get the points. There's the restart of play.
Oh, picked up beautifully, that's a ball, but then knocked on by David Lydiard. And the scrum will go down 2 metres up over the halfway line in Balmain territory. Hosking off, Adrian Shelford goes into the Manly pack.
Okay, so there it is, Shelford on. David Lydiard taking that ball beautifully from the dropout. But as he fell to the ground, he lost it behind him. Here's a kick through by Balmain on the first tackle.
Yes, and Iro racing back. They thought he was crook, but he got there first to the football. Tim Brasher up there to take him right on the Manly quarter line. Still struggling and won't go to ground. Now he does, as Gary Jack comes up over the top of him. Now Roberts from the back of the ruck trying to get away. He's going to be taken too, but he manages to pick up again 10 metres for the Sea Eagles.
Well, Manly's got to settle this play down. 6 minutes into the second half, and they've been at 6s and 7s. Here's Big Shelford getting his first pass away to Tuvey, and he'll do that all afternoon.
Tuvey up the plate. O'Donnell at dummy half sends it across to John Jones. He's going to be stopped this time by David Brooks. 5 metres short of the halfway line, still back in Manly's territory. Getting up the plate, Johnny Jones to O'Donnell, gives it back to Shelford again, getting very, very involved quickly. Tries to fend off Roach, manages to do it, but still trying to go forward, waiting now to play the ball. They eventually let him go. O'Donnell at dummy half across the Cliffy lines. He drops it off the end of the toe. Lydiard with blistering pace coming through, but it's gone and it's beaten both Jack and Lydiard up over the line inside the Balmain quarter line.
7.5 minutes gone in the second half. No change to the half-time score. 8 points to 0 Manly over Balmain. The crowd today, 30,965. 30,965. A great Saturday crowd for the sudden deather. Manly versus Balmain here at the football stadium. Freeman fires the pass out. Gary Jack's got it. Now in the hands of Tim Brasher, and he's put down in a solid tackle by Matthew Ridge and by Darryl Williams, the Kiwi connection.
Now it's Wayne Junior Pearce trying to take the leather outside the Balmain quarter line. Cunningham stopping that run. It's played to Robinson. Goes back to Freeman. Good pass to Parrish. Parrish has a look. He flicks it out the back door now. Roach's the only one there to take it, but again strong defence that time from David Lydiard to pull big blocker to ground. It's played to Benny Elias. He tries to get away from the back of the ruck. Again looking for support. Parrish eventually arrives on the scene, but Cliffy Lyons comes in to take him over the top, ball and all. Benny Elias at dummy half across to Wayne Pearce again, and Williams, ball and all tackle, brings Junior down just outside of his own quarter line. Back it goes to Elias. He sends the pass back to Gary Jack. And from his own quarter line, a beautiful punt downfield, bouncing on the first time for Matthew Ridge, getting underneath it now, the Kiwi, starting to go across field. Brasher up to take him beautifully around the legs, 10 short of the halfway line in Manly's territory, as Lydiard is acting dummy half, tries to get away from James Grant. He does so too, runs across field. In fact, he's lost yards. Now eventually he picks up a metre or so for the Manly side before Benny Elias tackles him. Gone now this time to Michael O'Connor. Fends off Ben kick, gives it back to Lydiard. He was going to pass, he dummies well, but he goes to ground on the halfway line with Brooks over the top of him. Up the play it back, it goes to O'Donnell. From that position, he sends it across to Shelford, taken by Siren and bounces off, beats Roach also, and the big men from the Tigers come in over the top to knock him down 8 into Balmain territory.
How the Kiwi selectors put Peter Brown and the fella from Canberra, Brent Todd, in front of him, I'll never know. He's a good player, Adrian Shelford, a wealth of experience, and he can unload the ball. You've got to have a court order to get off some of those other Kiwi forwards. Grub a kick downfield now. Gary Jack in his own in-goal area. He picks it up beautifully, but he's well tackled. In there, gets his pass away.
To Robinson. Robinson manages to step 1 or 2. Hard attack material from Jimmy Jack, but nevertheless it paid off. Robinson up the plate to Ben kick, goes across to Freeman. Good pass out now to David Brooks. Again, no support there for Brooks. He turns the ball back inside. This time to Ben kick again, steps 1 or 2, finds himself in the open, and eventually he's knocked down by Roberts. 28 metres out from the Balmain goal line. Benny Elias throwing his arms up in the air saying, where are some of my forwards? Brooks comes through. He manages to pick up another 10 metres. He is about 12, 13 short of the halfway line, still in Tiger territory.
All they need, Balmain, is a try or some points for them to get a lift. They're looking for a lift from somewhere. Tired legs will go when there's some points on the board, and that's what they're looking for. They need a Freeman bit of brilliance or an Elias bit of brilliance. But at the moment, Manly's defence very, very good. Here's Jack now. He'll kick downfield. Matthew Ridge going back. He's been safe all day for Manly.
Yes, he allows it to bounce on a couple of occasions again. But in full control, Matthew Ridge of the football. He's going to try and step Tim Brasher out wide. Eventually they catch up with him 10 metres out from the Eagles goal line.
11 minutes gone, no change to the half-time score. 8-0 in favour of Manly over Balmain. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
He hasn't been the answer, Brooks. They desperately needed a goal. He hasn't kicked either.
Okay, here's now Manly in possession through Martin Bella. The fans trying to cheer Balmain on. The Tigers support group is screaming out now for the black and golds.
It goes across to John Jones for Manly, and screaming's not going to do him any good. He's knocked to the ground 28 metres out from the Eagles line. O'Donnell a dummy half. It goes across to Cliffy Lyons, back inside to Iro. Good pass back to Cunningham, out now to Turvey. Turvey makes the break. He picks up now Williams charging through. Great rugby league we're watching here. Williams now will get up the plant. Back to O'Donnell, gives it out the lines again, drops it off the end of the 9.5 Adidas, and the ball's going to go up over the touchline, 12 metres out from the Tigers goal line.
It's good play by Manly, good support play, very calm Cliff Lyons in a crisis this afternoon, and brilliant attacking play by Manly there, and then settling it down on the last tackle was Lyons, locking the Tigers back up inside their quarter. This is professional stuff from Manly, but what do you expect when you've got a man like Graham Lowe in charge? But Balmain will refuse to lie down, and they're still in there hammering away for their first points.
Wayne Junior Pearce going forward for the Tigers up to his own quarter line, smack dab in the centre of the ground. Plays it back now to Clint Robinson. He's a quick, shifty little bloke, this fella. He picks up 11 metres for the Tigers. 31 away from the Balmain goal line. Freeman a dummy half back to Roach. Roach again dummies. Oh, he had Brasher looming up on the inside. Couldn't flick it. Gets up the plant forward. The big fella does a 360. Just fools Cunningham, but he's not going to get rid of Johnny Jones. Still going forward. Having a great game to the block today, and he's knocked down on the halfway line.
Last tackle for Balmain. Freeman will kick.
And he does so too, off the chest of Cliff Lyons. Didn't know whether to pick it up. It's gone back. He's going to play the knock on. That could have been another 6 tackles. I thought Balmain may have touched it, but he said no, the scrum will go down.
Okay, referee Harrigan there. I think that was an error. That came off Cliff Lyons' chest. That was a charge.
And
down.
went back.
And went back. Scrum feed to Balmain. That should have gone the other way. Anyway, Balmain win the scrum.
Back it goes across now to Brasher. Out to Gary Jack. Oh, strong defence that time. A great tackle from Darryl Williams.
He's a great defender.
Oh, great tackle. Back now it goes to Wayne Pearce into the arms of Parrish. Parrish trying to get rid of 1 or 2 now. Bella's got hold of him, won't let him go. Little Gary Freeman's pushing off Goliath as he offloads out to McFarlane. McFarlane goes forward for 10 metres. Shelford over the top to stop that run. Back it goes to Elias. Good pass out this time to Wayne, to Roach. Then on to Sirenen. Oh, and a tackle from Turvey. Drops the big Paul Sirenen. Elias, Freeman. Out this time to Parrish, gone past him. Gary Jack races through, puts the chip and chase on too. But again, big Tony Iro there. And Gary Jack is up over the top of him, riding him like a camel. He brushes him off like he was a runaway camel on that occasion. And he takes it right up to within 10 metres of the halfway line.
Oh, listen to the crowd. Don't they love Iro? That's a fantastic run from big Tony Iro.
Manly in possession still. 2 metres short of the halfway line. Getting up the plat now, Roberts. Back it goes to O'Donnell across this to the arms of Martin Bella again. He carries the football 5 metres over the halfway line, once again into Balmain territory. O'Donnell's a dummy half. The call is on to Cliff Lyons. Oh, Lydiard's a mile offside. Dead set.
Turvey's not there.
Oh, Turvey's got possession, but it still should have been him. He's
That's a try.
Manly try to Jeff Turvey.
Brilliant try by Manly. The Eagles are in. Jeff Turvey, and that was a brilliant try. Both players onside. Turvey came from behind Cliff Lyons. No doubt about it on the replay. There's the kick through. Lydiard was offside, but Turvey was onside. And Turvey got the bounce. He was tackled but not held. And he got up again and scrambled for the try. Brilliant try. Lydiard was offside, but Turvey was on. And Turvey was the man that got the ball. Lydiard didn't come into the play. Excellent try by Manly. Brilliant kick by Cliffy Lyons. Manly 12, lead Balmain 0, and the Eagles looking good here after only 15 minutes of play in the second half. Manly 12, lead Balmain 0.
We have the kick to be taken by Matthew Ridge, and it is on the Balmain quarter line. Try given to Tooby.
Excellent try, Greg, and brilliant refereeing. You called Lydiard offside, and
Lydiard was offside from the word go, Pete. That was the problem.
There's no problem. He didn't come into the game.
But he was within 5 yards of where the ball was picked up.
No.
Offside should not have been a try.
Brilliant try by Tooby.
He scored it. The points are on the board, but they were offside.
Call the kick.
Yeah, you don't worry about call the kick. You'll take the points. You deserve them. But he was offside, and it shouldn't have been a try. So now we've got Matthew Ridge on the quarter line as he comes in now, and the kick is away to the right-hand side. Nevertheless, Kirby has got a 4-pointer on the board.
Manly 12, Balmain 0, sideline eye, Tony McGay.
I got to say, both players, Tuvey and Lydiard, were in front of the kicker. No try.
Okay, no try. We'll give it back to them then.
Yeah, you try giving it back to him. Try getting it off you.
We'll give it back. I'll give it back.
Yeah.
We don't need it.
Back to the centre to get it underway again. And David Brooks coming up for Balmain. That's the ball game.
You stop being so fair. It's not what you usually like.
Well, you asked me who I was going to tip. I picked the winner.
Oh, you haven't tipped anybody yet. They're not home. Balmain will fight all the way.
Yes, they will. But touched by Iro, gone dead. Goal line dropout.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the in-goal touch judges, Brian Gately at that end there, nothing to do. Balmain have to come back in the next 10 minutes or they can't come back. 17 minutes gone in the second half. Manly 12, Balmain 0.
Goal line drop out to be taken. You and I both know with 12 points the way Manly are playing, Peter, it's virtually an impossible task.
No, it's not. A converted try and they're back in at Balmain.
Yeah, into the arms of McFarlane. He goes forward.
You've seen them come back from worse positions than this before.
I want them to come back. Don't worry about that. But McFarlane up the plat. To James Grant across to Freeman. Good pass on to Wayne Pearce now. He has pulled down 35 metres out from the Manly goal line. Has been a wonderful game. Benny Elias giving it across now into the big Paul Sirenen's possession, and he takes it up to the centre of the ground, 30 away from the Eagles line. Elias to Roach, back to Freeman, a switch of play, finds Brasher on the charge, through the gap too, gets up to go again, until Lydiard finds him on his own quarter line and drops him again. Benke gives it across to Freeman. Back it goes to Wayne Pearce. Pearce going forward. He is knocked down with one tackle left to go inside the Manly quarter area. Benny Elias puts a kick up. That's all he could do. All on, says the referee, does he? Everyone's like, Michael O'Connor reaches out, stretches out to take it. 2 metres out from the Manly goal line. A good catch.
Yeah, and a good kick by Benny Elias. Balmain realise that they've got a couple of minutes in this game to start their comeback. If it's going to come, it's got to come pretty shortly, and Shelford takes it out for Manly. Manly 12, lead Balmain 0.
David Brooks was over the top of him, but he's played it to O'Donnell. O'Donnell had to look back to offload. Freeman around the legs. Now Cliff Lyons gives it across to Adrian Shelford. The big Kiwi aims up to, charges forward, but he is stopped this time. A good tackle up over the top by Paul Sirenen. Once again, we've got Cliff Lyons weaving some magic back to little Matthew Ridge, and he gets another kick downfield. Gee whiz, this bloke can kick. It's found touch again. 6 metres over the halfway line in Balmain's territory.
Well, Manly's kicking game this afternoon has been spot on. Lyons and Ridge, almost every time they've kicked, they've found the sideline. They keep turning this tired Balmain side around, and they're obviously the tactics of Graham Lowe on the Manly side. 2 tries to 0, 12 points to 0. Balmain for scrum feed, sideline eye, Tony McGay.
It's a matter of Manly getting a bit more ball and they'll go away with this.
Manly certainly this afternoon in the scrum department, 10-5. Balmain have just won their first scrum of the second half.
We've got Pearce in possession. He plays it now to Parrish, goes across to Benny Elias. Out this time to Roach, to Sirenen. Good pass to Gary Jack up over the top to James Grant. Lydiard rushes at him very quickly to pull him down on the halfway line. David Brooks from the back of the ruck racing away, and O'Donnell very quickly onto him.
Greg, I think I said then Balmain have won their first scrum of the second half. Manly haven't won one scrum in the second half. 6 scrums to 0 in the second half to Balmain, but all the feeds I think have been with Balmain, and that's the reason why. But Balmain plenty of ball, but not making any inroads on this Manly defence. As Elias kicking downfield now, and Matthew Ridge inside his own quarter picks up the bouncing ball.
Sure does, and heads across towards the touchline. Clint Robinson up quickly to knock him down on the the Eagles quarter. He'll get up the plat now to Michael O'Connor.
Back to Tony Iro. He runs strongly, gets outside his own quarter. John Elias in jersey 19 to the sideline for Balmain. Warren Ryan throwing all his troops on. David Brooks comes off, so Tim Brasher will have to be the goal kicker now.
Shelford in possession. He'll play it to O'Donnell, gives it across this time to Roberts. Roberts tries to go over the top of one, but Wayne Pearce is there to stop that run, in company with a couple of Balmain players. John Jones heading up for a run too. One left to go to the Eagles. They're 5 short of the halfway line. Playing it back now to O'Donnell was Jones. He sends it across to Cliffy Lyons, steps behind. This time Lydiardi, he gets his kick downfield. James Grant going back to take possession for the Balmain Tigers. Will pick it up. He's on his own. Now he starts a bit of a run. Chased by one. Eventually picked up 15 metres out from the Balmain goal line.
And the Manly tactic certainly paying off, because Siren and Roach all walking back to get into the game. Balmain make a breakthrough, Benke.
Yeah, Clint Robinson on the run too. He gets inside Michael O'Connor and Shelford. Well, O'Connor slowed him down enough for Adrian Shelford to get to him.
Great chase by Shelford though.
Back now to Parrish. Goes a loss across to Elias. Out this time to Timmy Brasher. He changes direction too and finds himself in the clear for a bit of a gallop. Down into Manly territory, 10 metres up over the halfway line.
Good tackle by David O'Donnell, brought him down. Balmain, now it's an Elias kick.
Yes.
And he's going to chase it too.
He sure is, but Matthew Ridge will be back there. Too much pace for Benny too. Matthew Ridge, he starts a bit of a run. He steps Sirenen. Sirenen catches up with him up over the top, and he's pulled down just outside the Manly quarter line.
Yeah, well, Ciro chased him across field. Matthew Ridge saw him coming and took a almighty step to the right, and I don't blame him. Darryl Williams, a strong run.
Yes, he's up the plat, 30 out from his own goal line. Back to O'Donnell, across to Turvey. Good pass now out to Cliffy Lyons. He's going to hold it up. The heck he is. He gives it down to Michael O'Connor. O'Connor takes up. He's only got Gary Jack to contend with, but he gets around him. He's going to fly for the line. Gary Jack coming at him. He turns it inside. Try to Iro. Try to Iro. He got it back inside, and the big Kiwi has gone over to score.
That's one of the greatest tries you'll ever see in a big game of rugby league. Manly 16-0, a magnificent try. Cliffy Lyons was beautiful in this try. Magic hands from Lyons. Inside his own corner, he threw the dummy. He gave the pass beautifully to O'Connor. O'Connor raced downfield. He came to Gary Jack. He pushed off Gary Jack and he raced away. Jack chased him and almost got him again. Iro was inside and he took over. Another Kiwi in Gary Freeman, and Manly are alive in the Winfield Cup. They lead by 16 points to 0. 3 tries to 0, and you will go a long way before you see a better rugby league try than that one in the 22nd minute of the second half. Manly 16-0 on the threshold of their first ever win against Balmain in a finals game of rugby league. Magnificent try to Tony Iro, and hasn't he played well in the latter stages of the Winfield Cup?
The kick now to be taken by Matthew Ridge. Right on the quarter line. 5 metres in from touch. Wonderful rugby league try. Don't know whether it's going to be the greatest, as Peter said, but
I
certainly
said one of the greatest you'll see in a big game.
it was a great try. There's the ball up now. Oh, again waved away. 16 points to 0 on that Mitsubishi scoreboard in favour of Manly over Balmain. Exit the Tigers, but very gallantly.
I'll tell you one thing, Canterbury 1990 wouldn't have scored a try like that, would they?
Probably not.
Not probably not, could not.
You're only going to get a probably not out of me.
Yeah, probably
Okay.
not. He's got his Bulldog jersey on, and I tell you what, he fills it well. It's the fattest Bulldog I've ever seen. Stand up and
Get
show the
away.
people your Bulldog.
Get back
There's
to the
your
halfway
Bulldog.
line. Sit down.
Have a look at his Bulldog.
Back
He's got
down.
a head like a Bulldog too.
Benny Elias getting it underway once again. And there they are, getting underneath at the Eagles. The little skinny fella, the 2-iron with ears to Ridge, gives it back to Iro. Iro comes up. Oh, and a good strong run. He's 26 metres out from the Manly goal line. He plays it to O'Donnell. O'Donnell now goes forward. He's going to be wrapped up too, just outside the Manly 30-metre line. Getting up the plat. Back it goes now to Cliffy Lyons.
Cliffy Lyons has run the show this afternoon. Bella's had a big game and he takes on the Balmain forwards. Whatever side plays Manly is going to have to play well to beat them. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
All the crucial plays from Lyons. The last pass for a try, the kick for another, and he scored one himself. What more?
Certainly. There's Shelford and Big Sirenen having a little set two out there. Lyons now in possession, kicks downfield and finds touch again. He can do no wrong today, Cliffy Lyons. And the number 6 for Manly making a superb charge towards a Kangaroo tour. This is a game and a half from Cliffy Lyons this afternoon.
This scrum now to go down back on the Balmain quarter line. Shelford being spoken to in company with Sirenen as they pack in, with Little Freeman coming up to work this one for the Balmain Tigers. The referee again not happy with it. O'Donnell can't get his head into the pack. Eventually he'll go down now. Otherwise you're going to put it in without him. Freeman feeds this one. Balmain win it. Straight out now to Matt Parrish. Goes across out this time. The bench kick had to go very high to take that one. But Michael O'Connor's around his legs to pull him down. 12 out from the Tigers line.
The big difference between Manly in 1990 and Manly in previous years is the fact that they'll defend. And they've got a nil scoreline against them at the moment. They could always score plenty of tries, but keeping the opposition out was their big problem. They've got the second best defence in the competition, and they're in exactly the same position from which Canberra won it last year, beating a side that played in a sudden death semi-final.
Roach now playing it again to Elias. Going across, linking up out wide that time. And the ball being knocked on by Matt Parrish, forcing yet another scrum with a Manly feed just outside the Balmain quarter line.
History being made in a lot of ways. Manly beating Balmain for the first ever time in a semi-final, and it's the first time that Balmain coach Warren Ryan, in any club he's been at, that his side have made the semis and haven't gone through to the grand final. Lyons easily beats Parrish.
Yes, trying to bounce off another couple too, but he's pulled back down on the Balmain quarter line by Freeman. Now he'll play up to Turvey. Turvey gives it across to Ian Roberts. Roberts going forward, but he stopped this time, getting up very quickly to play it. Wayne Pearce has got hold of him, still trying to pull him to ground. The referee says let him play it. He does so back to Williams, gives it out now to Martin Bella. Bella tries to step John Elias, manages to do that. But again, John Elias swoops in over the top with Freeman there also. O'Donnell's a dummy half. He sends it out now to Turvey. Then on to Shelford. Shelford holds it up for John Jones, but again Wayne Pearce across the top. 11 metres out from the Balmain goal line. Turvey back to Lyons. Lyons good pass this time on to Matthew Ridge, but Ridge is going to be pulled down too. 10 metres out from the Balmain goal line. He plays it back now to Cliffy Lyons. Out a shot at a field goal. Waved away by Billy Harrigan back to the quarter line.
Good thinking by Lyons. They've got this game won. 12 minutes to go. Exit Balmain. The side that's been in the grand final for the last 2 years are first out of it in 1990. And the Eagles are flying high at the football stadium. 16 points to 0. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Pretty impressive this. There might be a couple more games in this mob.
Yeah, they're certainly looking pretty good, and there doesn't look to be any weak link. We've got to check on Des Hasler. That knee injury may be a body blow to Manly because he's a brilliant performer.
And we've got Roach and Roberts having a bit of a push and a shove too as Gary Jack going forward. But he's knocked down now centre field, 35 metres out from the Balmain goal line. McFarlane gives it now to John Elias, trying to take one or two on. Jones is there, O'Donnell's there, and Roberts is there to stop him.
Spare a moment. Wayne Pearce's career has just on 11 and a half minutes remaining, Junior.
Yes, and he put him through a great pass then on to McFarlane, who made the break from Wayne Pearce. Beautiful rugby league. Still got it, Junior. Goes across now to Roach. Roach dummies, two goes forward. But he's taken beautifulely just outside the Manly quarter line by Johnny Jones.
He's had a big game, John Jones.
You tell me, I've been telling you all afternoon. Gone back to Freeman. Freeman drops it off the end of the toe. Back to Matthew Ridge. He's going to make it dead in the in-goal area. No doubt in the world about that. The big policeman, Brian Gately, there too, to make sure that the centre man made the right decision.
It's interesting to see the in-goal touchies. They've had very little to do this afternoon, and they're all dressed up and nowhere to go.
He's had a terrific time. I've looked through him.
He's got a good spot.
That's the point. He's been laughing all afternoon. He's had a ball. What a place to watch a final. Terrific
and
spot.
you get paid.
And you get paid.
Not much.
He'll be all right.
Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Yeah, he's just getting out some sandwiches and a thermos.
Goal line drop out now. Back to your dugout, Magoo. McFarlane taking it. About 4 short of the halfway line. Starts to get a bit of speed up too. Right up to within 29 metres from the Manly goal line. Again, John Jones over the top for the tackle. James Grant trying to get past O'Donnell. But young David O'Donnell, what a mighty effort from him too, as Benny Elias says one up for Wayne Pearce. Go on, Junior, give it to him. And he carries the football down inside the Manly quarter line. Benny Elias at dummy half. Out now to Sirenen. Back to Elias. And again O'Donnell up there to hold his opposite number up. He'll quickly play it to Gary Freeman. Gives it across now to John Elias. And John Elias pulled down by Turvey. 12 metres out from the Manly goal line. It's played to Grant. Goes across this time to Benny Elias. He puts a high ball up. Everybody on side. Catch and kill your own. Cliffy Lyons again taking the football 15 metres out from the Manly goal line.
Crowd today 30,965 and Manly lead by 16 points to nil on the Mitsubishi Electric scoreboard. A tremendous team effort from Manly this afternoon. Very professional, and they've played, I think, with a little bit up their sleeve too.
And we've got now in possession of the football once again David Lydiard. He's coughed it up. And the referee is going to put a scrum down. They're appealing to say that the ball was pulled out of his possession, but it wasn't, you know.
Okay, let's go down to our sideline eye. Tony McGay, who's got some news on Des Hasler.
Yeah, Tony Peter's got a chat with Hasler inside, Peter. Apparently it's just bruising. He'll be all right next week.
Okay, so there it is. Good news for Manly on Des Hasler. Only bruising. He's A-OK.
And we've got Parrish trying to go forward, and another tackle from Cunningham stops that run. Plays it back to Grant, across to Freeman, good pass to Brasher. He offloads out to Wayne Pearce again, trying to go past Darryl Williams, but pulled down 12 short of the Manly line. It's played to Robinson, to Freeman, back to Parrish. Freeman on the wrap, gives it out this time to Paul Siren, and he brushes one off, and little Tooby dives around his legs, but he gives it back now to Johnny Elias. He goes forward 10 metres out now from the Manly goal line. Still in there trying, gutsy effort from the Tigers. Benkick gives it back to Roach. Roach offloads out now to Johnny Elias, and he's only stopped the metre short of the Manly goal line. Gary Jack a dummy half. The call's on. The pass is to Elias. Out to Freeman. Turns it inside to McFarlane. Back to Benny Elias. But he's sandwiched between. A great tackle that time from Matthew Ridge and a Manly player on the deck. Now McFarlane trying to offload, manages to get it back to Freeman. Freeman confronted by Shelford, he's put him down. His kick into the in goal is fielded by Matthew Ridge. Gets out into the field of play before Parrish stops him right in his tracks.
Well, Manly defending as though their lives depended on it. They've won this game, but they're still defending very, very well. 16 points to nil. Balmain trying their hearts out. 7 minutes left in the game. They're gone, the Tigers, for 1990. Warren Ryan, their coach, is off to Western Suburbs next year as coach, and a new coach will be announced of the Balmain Tigers very shortly.
Now we've got Roberts up the play to O'Donnell again, to Johnny Jones, still going as hard and as fast as he did in the first half, minus his headgear that just ripped it straight off his melon.
Okay, they'll be cheering in New Zealand through 1ZB in Auckland and right throughout the Shaky Isles, because New Zealand have adopted Manly, and why not? With their coach Graham Lowe, Matthew Ridge, Darryl Williams, Tony Iro, and also Adrian Shelford in their side. They've been called Maori Warringah, and rightly so. We've won it with Greeks, we've won it with Poms, and we'll win it with Kiwis, as far as I'm concerned.
I'll tell you what, as far as you're concerned, you look like a Maori too, so you'll fit right into it, buddy, let me tell you.
Hey, ringa-ringa-paki.
You honker and all, mate, you're all right.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind going around with a built-in veranda like you've got with a bulldog on it. Sideline eye, Tony McGay.
Has anyone told Canberra about this?
No, I don't think so.
Back it goes now to Balmain, up the play at Wayne Pearce. Gives it across to Freeman. John Elias up over the halfway line before he's knocked to the ground. Good tackle again by Johnny Jones. It's gone across now to Elias, to Freeman and Roach. Freeman on the wraparound, links up with Siren, and back to Freeman again. A long pass up over the top to James Grant. He's got his work cut out for him. Tooby straight at him. Hasn't missed all afternoon, little Jeff Tooby. He'll get up the plate. Benkick a dummy half across to Freeman again. He stops, starts, gives a pass to Benny Elias. Wide it goes now to Clint Robinson. Robinson nearly through the gap. He gives it out wide once again to Wayne Pearce, to Gary Jack. Turns it inside to Pearce. Pearce desperately trying to keep it alive, but he can't get his pass away with Roberts over the top of him. A little knock on that time by Gary Freeman at the back of the ruck. And Mr. Everready on the job. The referee has caught him.
Yeah, and coming on for Manly is David Ronson. No, he's not.
Ha! 360 for Ronson.
Yeah, the touch judge got to him, and then he had to leave the field. But Ronson will come on in a few moments and get a bit of a gallop here with 5 minutes left for play. Adrian Shelford says, I'll take it up. Oh, he's picked up and turned over.
Yes, well, that was a dangerous tackle. And Shelford and Roach having a go. Roach knows it's the last game. I hope Lockett contains himself as we see the bust on that time by Big Marty Bella.
Michael O'Connor off for Manly, and it's also David Ronson on. So the Sea Eagles captain off, and Balmain starting to rip in a little bit now.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't, because they want to start and finish now. We've got Roberts playing the ball. Back to Ronson for a bit of a gallop in the win this afternoon. He's 5 metres up over the halfway line.
Okay, let's go down to Michael O'Connor on the sideline. Snoz, congratulations, a great Manly win, and tremendous effort to keep Balmain scoreless so far.
That's right. It's a very spirited performance by our fellas. I'm very proud of them. Haven't even looked like scoring all game, I felt, and I'm very proud of the defence.
Well, Manly certainly this afternoon, Michael, making everybody wary of having a brilliant chance in this premiership.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't make too many silly mistakes in the first half, which has been a feature of our game the last few weeks, and that's what semi-final football is all about. But this bloke here, Gary Jack, he keeps on tormenting us. But no, I'm very happy with the performance today. I think we can only go on from here.
And at half-time, 8-0, did Graham Lowe think that was enough?
No, I was a bit worried at half-time because we started to open up down the middle. Roach and Sirenan will get offloading on the inside, and they found a few holes in the first half, but in the second half they haven't been able to find too many.
They certainly haven't. I think that's been the highlight of Manly in 1990, Michael. You really defend your line as though it means something to you.
That's right. There's been a lot of desperation, and I'm just very glad that we're through today's game. We've got 2 more to go before we get there.
Great spirit in the side.
Absolutely, and thanks very much to all the Manly supporters that made it out here today. We really appreciate it.
And you've heard them, no doubt. They've yelled their heads off all day.
Very vocal. It's been tremendous.
Congratulations, mate.
Thank you.
Michael O'Connor, the Manly captain, as Balmain keep trying. There are, I make it, 4 minutes left for play here at the Sydney Football Stadium. Manly 16 lead, Balmain 0, 8 points in both halves. And Darryl Williams is off and young Paul Smith on now. So Manly giving all the young fellows a bit of a gallop.
Yes, and he's in possession, Peter. Paul Smith, he's up the play, back to O'Donnell. Sends it across to John Jones. And he's still going as he's knocked down 36 metres out from the Manly goal line.
4 minutes left for the great Wayne Pearce. What a tragedy that players have to stop sometime. But, Junior, you have been magnificent. You've never won a premiership, and it's not going to happen now. But, my word, you've been an ornament to the game. I dip my lid to you. Cliff Lyons kicks downfield. Lydiard chases after a tired Gary Jack.
Yeah, and Gary Jack doesn't know he's coming, but he does now because Lydiard's around his legs, pulls him down, but he gets up to go again, jumping Jimmy Jack. Lydiard combining with Turvey, honing on him. 10 metres out from the Balmain goal line. He's up to play it. Parrish at dummy half across now to James Grant, trying to get around 1 or 2. He tried to step O'Donnell, but then Paul Smith on the far side of the field knocks him to ground. Clint Robinson from the back of the ruck, again pulled down by Paul Smith around the legs. 15 out from their own goal line. Benny Elias gives it across to Freeman, to Parrish. Long pass this time, finds John Elias running wide. He gives it out to Steve Benkick. He's going to be trapped well and truly. Keeps the pass out this time again to Parrish. Parrish tries to step Bella, manages to do so. He offloads back inside, and Roach will pick this one up, but the ball has gone forward off the arms of Sirenan, and a scrum will go down on the Balmain quarter line.
Well, our points for our Rugby League Player of the Year are well and truly over. We'll be announcing our winner shortly on World of Football, so stick with us on that in the next week. And, of course, today it's really been a game for Cliff Lyons, and he's played marvellously well. And he's run this sudden death semi-final. We'll talk to him and Wayne Pearce, hopefully, when things settle down in that dressing room. It's been a great day this afternoon for Manly. They've been absolutely outstanding.
They have, and still on the attack too. David O'Donnell serving another one up for Cliffy Lyons. The pass has gone astray this time, and we've had Lydiard picking it up. He's been bumped by Brasher up over the touchline, but the referee, Billy Harrigan, had a good game too this afternoon. We'll put this scrum down 15 metres out from the Tigers' goal line.
Yes, and Balmain, well, they're still struggling in this game, but it's gone for them at the wrong end of the season. They got too many injuries, and that sudden death replay on Tuesday night has taken a lot out of the Tigers, whether they will admit it or not. But I think they'll give full credit to Manly this afternoon. 16-0 to Manly over Balmain, 3 tries to 0. And Balmain, quite frankly, haven't really looked like scoring.
Back now it goes to Brasher. Convincing win for the Eagles, no risk. Benny Elias still a dummy half. From that position he goes. He gives it across now to John Elias. He has a look back too to see if he can offload, but he can't get rid of the football. 28 metres away from the Tigers goal line. Grant serving it up to Freeman, out this time to Parrish, to Wayne Pearce, back to Gary Jack, jumping Jimmy Jack through the gap. He's got Freeman, one to beat. Freeman now goes off for the prize, but Paul Smith coming at him. Paul Smith coming at him. Roach is up there, backing up like a 3/4 Stephen Roach up there. Oh, there's a fight on now. Lydiard and Roach. Roach and Lydiard bolting the tripe out of each other.
Yeah, and Martin Bella and Steve Roach into it. The 2 Australian front rowers, teammates a couple of weeks ago, combatants now, and it's really on, the battle of the heavyweights, and it's just about full time. Give them a shower. Big blocker, a great supporting run, tackled well by Turvey, and it was a great tackle by Turvey. He hit Turvey over the head, and Lydiard came back at him, and the penalty's gone to Balmain. That's a joke.
Well, anyway,
there's Parrish going for the goal line now, and I make it almost full time.
There it is.
There it is. Manly have won 16 points to 0. Balmain out of the Winfield Cup. Manly 3 tries to 0, and Roach and Bella They shake hands. Can you believe it? Big Steve Roach, blood pouring out of his eye. Bill Harrigan leaves the field to the players. Balmain out of the Winfield Cup. Manly and Balmain congratulate one another. Ian Roberts and Steve Roach. Big Martin Bella, what a game, but oh, what a game from Cliffy Lyons and Wayne Pearce. Congratulations to Junior. A magnificent career is over. And now he shakes hands and the Balmain players will hoist Wayne Pearce. Here they are, Sirenen clapping off Junior. Wayne Pearce, tears in his eyes as he cuddles Gary Jack, one of his great teammates. And Balmain's Wayne Pearce leaves the field for the last time. Wayne Pearce, congratulations. And he waves to the crowd, and that's Junior's career over. How sad, how sudden, and how sad for the game, as I said. Steve Roach leaves the arena too. Manly 16-0 winners over Balmain today, and a mighty performance by the Sea Eagles. A tremendous victory. Tries to Manly by Tony Iro, Jeff Tuvey, and the man on the match, Cliffy Lyons. A magnificent display by Lyons. 2 from 4 for Matthew Ridge, and Balmain didn't score. Cliff Lyons, congratulations on a marvellous game.
Thanks a lot, Peter. It was a tremendous effort for the boys. It's what we worked for, and it paid off.
Cliffy, you were so close to leaving Manly a year ago. I think right at this moment you'd be the happiest man in rugby league to have stayed.
Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. It was close. I could have left, but thanks to you bringing me up, you saved me.
Well, I think the Manly club would be elated that you're there still, and I think you're there to finish your career. A great game today, under pressure. You ran the show. The side played superbly. They backed you up. You got a good pack of forwards in front of you and an outstanding set of backs with you. How far can you go in the cup?
Mate, on that performance today, mate, I think we'll be unstoppable. But we're just not going to think about that at the moment. We're just going to train tomorrow, turn up the train tomorrow and see how the injuries are and just work on them and just get a team back together.
You've been together all week and you're going to be together for the rest of the week, I would imagine. A terrific performance by the team.
Yeah, it was. Well, we're going to train every day this week. I'm sure Graham's not going to change his way, and no, we'll just skip back down and Graham he'll bring us back to earth pretty quick.
It's more for team spirit than anything else, all these training sessions you have, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. They're not long sessions, they're just quick, sharp sessions, and just to get ourselves motivated and just build up to the weekend.
Now, what was the big factor in Manly's victory today? You obviously knew Balmain would be tired and you weren't about to let them in the game with some wonderful kicking today.
Yeah, well, that was our main tactic, was just to kick and chase, a good chase. No, that would just worked wonderfully, and the forwards just kept going and going.
Cliffy, I know how much you want to be in the Kangaroos, but you seem to have put it at the back of your mind. I sat beside you at the Rothmans Medal. You're very much aware that the further Manly goes, the better chance you get of getting that green and gold jersey that you've strived for.
Well, that's right, Peter. Like, every time you play, the selectors are out there watching you, so the longer you last, I think it's the better chance you got.
What about the little fellow that plays with you? What a mighty player for a little fellow like him. He almost got knocked out early in the game. He was tackling Sirenen and Roach and the big fellows. He must inspire you fellows, Jeff Tuvey.
Oh, mate, that's what Graham keeps saying to him. He keeps backing the forwards because Jeff keeps tackling all the big guys, and that sort of inspires the forwards to do their bit.
Tony Iro has come of age in the Winfield Cup as a match winner.
Definitely, Pete. He's just that powerful. He's that big, determined to get through the line.
Cliffy, congratulations. A magnificent game from you this afternoon, and congratulations to you and the Manly side. Big winners over a gutsy Balmain side. They never gave in. You didn't expect them to.
No, mate, they did well, Balmain. A bit hard. Well, remember in 88 they played midweek and they beat us, so that's one we owed them, I think.
Congratulations on your game.
Thanks a lot, Peter.
There he is, Cliffy Lyons. What a great game from him this afternoon, Gavin Miller.
Yes, Peter, he had an outstanding game today. He certainly orchestrated the victory for Manly, and there was a number of good players out there today, but none better than Cliff Lyons.
He just ran the whole show, didn't he?
Well, that's right. His kicking game certainly dominated, and there's no doubt that Graham Lowe did his homework. He went and saw Balmain play on Tuesday night. He turned them around. Cliff Lyons was the main contributor to the kicking today, and they come up with an excellent, committed win today. I was so impressed with their defence today.
It was marvellous defence. I mean, not many years ago, Manly sort of would have conceded a try or two, but not anymore.
Well, they were so committed to keep their line intact that they come up with a zero scoreline against them, and that was such a committed effort from them. They were scrambled. Balmain made a number of breaks where there was opportunities to score tries, but they certainly covered each other, and it was a great performance from the Manly side. As we predicted, they certainly, they felt the pinch, Balmain, and they ran away with the game. But, I was so impressed with guys like David Lydiard, who doesn't get too many raps, and the defence of Darryl Williams was great. Just everyone made a healthy contribution. It was an overall team effort which was orchestrated by Cliffy Lyons.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was a team effort, and I think that's the thing about Manly. They've so often been called individualists, but today they won it through team football.
Well, you look at Graham Lowe's coaching record. He had a team of champions, but he turned them into a champion team at Wigan, and he's certainly done that with Manly as well.
Yeah, it's been a remarkable turnaround, hasn't it, in just 12 months?
Well, it just goes to show what a bit of internal stability does to a place.
Well, a crowd of 30,965 today have seen Manly in first grade, 16-0 winners over Balmain. Warren Ryan exits from Balmain. Wayne Pearce, a magnificent career over. We've watched him right throughout his career. We've marvelled at his dedication, at his absolute team effort, and he's certainly a player that is very, very much a part of rugby league in the 80s and into the 90s, and an ornament to the game. But I think we saw a little star today emerge. We've seen him all year, and just looking at the teeny boppers moving out of the stadium now with signs like Groovy Toovy. That little fellow, he's only tiny, but what a player.
Oh.